So stories have been so transformative in my life, and the same thing goes for writing. I also transform myself while writing. Good morning, gentle viewers. Today is Writer Wednesday, and I am going to be doing the NaNoWriMo tag and getting ready for the day. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for stopping by. Alright, I'm getting started with my get ready and the NaNoWriMo tag. I found this tag on Kat Cho's channel. The original is from Christina Horner's channel, and the links for those will be in the box. Now, it's been a full week of NaNoWriMo, and I thought this would be a great time to do this tag. Heading into week 2, sometimes the motivation and stamina can start to wear thin. For me, the story can lose some of its shiny. It starts to feel less fresh, less new. So I'm hoping that by doing the NaNoWriMo tag, it'll help me to remember the things I love about NaNoWriMo and about this particular manuscript. Question number 1 is, how many times have you done NaNoWriMo? And I'm going to combine that with question number 2, which is, how did you first find out about NaNoWriMo? I have been doing NaNoWriMo on and off since 2009. And I found out about it through a forum I was on at the time. To let you know how much of a nerd geek I am, it was a forum for role-playing. And in one of the threads, someone happened to mention it as a project that writers might be interested in. And ever since then, I have been more or less participating every year. Question number 3 is, what was the name of the first novel you attempted with NaNoWriMo? My first NaNoWriMo novel, I believe the title was Heaven and Earth. It was about a fallen angel who had basically withdrawn from the war that was going on between heaven and hell, and he had kind of put himself in semi-retirement on Earth and was just trying to live as Joe Schmo. But of course, everything went wrong. And as expected, it wasn't the best novel, certainly. But doing NaNoWriMo really, for the first time, gave me a taste of what it's like to live as a professional author, as someone who writes for a career. I learned a lot of lessons from writing that first novel, and I continue to learn every time I participate in NaNoWriMo. That's been my best takeaway from doing NaNoWriMo. When I come away from it, do I feel like I've learned things? Do I feel like I've grown as a writer? And the answer is always yes. Number 4 is, give us a 1-sentence summary of what you're writing this year. My 1-sentence summary would be, Pride and Prejudice meets modern day paranormal ghost hunting. And I'll just leave that to your imagination. Question number 5 is, what's the best writing advice you've ever been given? That's a tough one. I listen to a lot of writing podcasts. I read a lot of books about writing. I guess for me, the most difficult part I find about writing is the rough draft. I have a very hard time trusting that even though the draft might not be very good, there are going to be good things about it. Even if I don't think I have the skills, I need to remind myself that Those are skills I can develop, I can work on, I can improve. My answer to that question is to trust your creativity and know that even when the writing isn't very good, it's not good yet. Letting myself have the growth mindset towards my own work just helps release so much of that anxiety I have around the first draft. Question number 6 is, did you ever take a year off from Nano? Why? It's often because I was editing a manuscript at the time, or I had one on submission. So I was in a different stage of the writing process. Even on years where I wasn't officially signed up, I would still use the website to read pep talks from authors, to access their tools for writing. So even if you're not actively working on your manuscript, I would recommend checking out the website. They have a lot of great stuff there. Putting some extra concealer under my eyes today because I didn't have a great sleep last night. And I don't know about you, gentle viewer, but the day after a sleepless night, it feels like a video that's buffering and you're also trying to play it, but it keeps stalling where the buffering hasn't loaded yet. That's how I'm feeling today. Number 7 is, what's your biggest inspiration when figuring out what to write? And I would say for me, it's just whatever I'm into at the time. Of course, TV and movies are great, books are great. I also read a lot of comic books, I read a lot of manga, I watch anime, I like graphic novels. The simple answer is that when I'm consuming things that I enjoy, it often leads to me also wanting to try it. And that's how also I started making YouTube videos and just writing in the first place. Guys, can you see that there's, for some reason, stuck an eyebrow pencil into the makeup brush jar, and the lid, or the cap, is missing. Who knows where that's gone. Another thing I like to do is get pen and paper and start asking what if questions. And this is an exercise I got from one of James Scott Bell's books on writing. And you just go down the page and let yourself freely generate ideas. And one of the keys is to generate as many as possible. Like, you'll instinctively reach a point, and for me that's usually like around 10, where it's like, okay, that's all I can think of. But you want to push yourself past that point, because those first 10 are going to be the low-hanging fruit. They're going to be the cliches, the stuff that's easy to come up with. So by pushing yourself past that, you force yourself to dig deeper into your creativity and come up with ideas that are richer and newer. I've also used it to come up with fun fantasy elements that I want to explore, like magic systems and world building. Okay, today I'm using the Maybelline Blushed Nudes palette. These are very subtle shades, just because I do feel very tired and don't really want to draw too much attention to my eyes when they're feeling tired and sad. Question number 8 is, read us the first sentence from one of your novels. And I'm just going to read the first sentence from the manuscript I'm working on this year. So it's, one thing Eliza knew for sure was that vengeful spirits want bodies to possess. A little bit of that Pride and Prejudice tone there. I guess since this eyebrow pencil was in the makeup jar, I'll just use that. This is the Ulta Beauty This is the Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow Pencil in dark brown. Pay a visit to thing 1 and thing 2 over here. Get my glasses back on here. Probably my favorite stage of the makeup process. And the final question in the tag is, why do you love writing? Got very personal all of a sudden. For me, it goes back to why I love stories. To me, they really are the best way to expand my own experiences. Like, I can only live my one life, but stories allow me to experience the lives of others. Like, as a child, I read Roots by Alex Haley. I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. I remember having a very clear thought of these people lived very different lives from my own. And I remember the first time a book made me cry because a character died, and I remember the wonder of reading the Chronicles of Narnia and wanting to have a group of friends like in the Babysitters Club, and I worshipped Nancy Drew for the longest time. So stories have been so transformative in my life. And the same thing goes for writing. I also transform myself while writing. There's a really great TED Talk by Andrew Stanton, who wrote a lot of the stories for Pixar. He also talks about the way we use storytelling to communicate, to explore ideas. And I think storytelling is something that comes very naturally to us. I know I have stories that I want to tell, and I have stories that I want to read. And writing allows me to be a part of that, not just a consumer of stories, but a creator of stories. I think I'm done getting ready for the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope your NaNoWriMo projects are going well. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave me a comment. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!